My name is Clark Williams. I am the designer partner for Henri Costa Apparel, a new brand that we're launching here in the United States and hopefully in China as well. I started in my career in design back in 1980. I went to work for a company that was a leather jacket, high-end leather jacket designer company. And I started working with them in their warehouse just as a job while I was going to college. The designer was very talented, but he could not sketch. He couldn't draw. And I've always been artistic. I've always been able to sketch and draw. So I started doing his sketches for him. He would tell me what he wanted. I would do the sketch. And he'd say, no, change this. We had a great working relationship, and I eventually became his design assistant. It was a very high-end leather jacket company named Robert Comstock, and I worked with him for 15 years. I worked my way up from design assistant to the design director for the company over design and merchandising. And then I kind of went out on my own, did a few things, worked for Tommy Bahama, was design director for a denim brand for Tommy Bahama for 6 years, which I absolutely love doing. That's how I kind of got into doing coastal, casual type apparel. And then did a few other things after that. And then most recently entering into a partnership with Henri Miu on Henri Costa. And this is a brand, Henri Costa, that I am extremely excited about. Henri has amazing resources for getting things accomplished well. And over my career, one of the most frustrating things was getting my interpretation of a design done into a garment to my satisfaction and in a timely manner. It's always been a struggle, but with Henri and his contacts, no struggle at all. The prints come in beautiful, the samples come in beautiful, and they do it very quickly. So I couldn't be in a better position than I am right now than to be partnered with Henri Miu and Henri Company. So one of the most important things in apparel is the fabric that you work with to design. The first thing that I did, when Henri and I first started talking about Henri Costa and what we wanted to do with it, we came upon the idea of casual coastal wear. The kind of clothing that a guy will wear when he goes on vacation, when he goes on a holiday and goes to some place where he's really excited to get away from everything to a different world. And the most important thing to me for that is comfort. So I went to work in it. I knew immediately that we wanted to focus the brand on prints and interesting fabrics, and prints that are fun and innovative, but the fabrics need to be comfortable. So the first thing I did was go out and really resource the right fabrics for this brand. And I came up with, on tops, on shirts, I came up with two fabrics in the beginning. One was a cotton elastic blend, so it had just the right amount of stretch and softness. It was a high thread count, and it prints beautifully. We can do our digital prints on it, but it has that stretch that just gives you that much more comfort when you have it on. It moves with your body as you move. This is an example of it right here. It's got a nice stretch with it. It looks beautiful to the touch. It's soft to the touch. The other thing that is really important to me as a designer is every fabric, I want it to have some kind of surface interest to it that invites the customer to touch it. And if it's got a nice surface detail, you immediately, when you look at it, you want to touch it. You can't help but touch it. And once you touch it and feel how soft and luxurious it is, you've already captured that customer because they see it, they like the print, they like the look of the fabric, they touch it, they love how it feels. Immediately, you've got a sale because they've got to have that then because it's got everything for them: the look, the feel, the comfort. A little more about prints. For me as a designer, it's one of my favorite things to do. Whenever I have some spare time, my favorite thing, instead of going out and playing golf, my favorite thing is to sit down on my laptop, open up Adobe Illustrator and start working on prints. I like to sketch different things, and with this brand being a coastal inspired brand, I'll sketch a cartoon alligator or a flamingo or a fish, you know, a sea saltwater fish of some kind. Anything to do with coastal tropical lifestyles. And I'll sketch these little cartoon images, and then I'll start putting them together in a pattern repeat, and I'll build a texture background to put in a texture behind it, playing with different colors until I come up with the right colorways. And that's how I design my prints. It seriously is one of my favorite things to do. It's a great pastime. And that's how I build my color palettes for each season. I do it from the print up. Most designers start by choosing colors that they think are important for that season. I start with working on the prints that I'm going to introduce for that season, and what colors work best with those prints for the background, for the texture, for the actual icon that's in the print. And I play with all different colors, changing it up. And then when I come up with 2 or 3 colorways that I think are perfect for that print, those colors become locked into the color group or the color palette for that season. And I might have like 6 directional prints that will lock the color palette for me. And that way I don't get locked into like trying to make prints work within a color palette. The prints drive the color palette. It's a different way of doing things. It's a fresh way of doing things. And I like to do things. I like to break rules. I've always liked to be spontaneous. I think life was meant to be enjoyed. You can't enjoy life if you're locked in a certain way of doing things. You have to have the freedom to experience and try new things. And that's what I love to do.